22 pounds gone. No incisions, no operating room, no overnight stay. A scope through her mouth, a suturing device, 45 minutes, and she went home the same day. That's not science fiction, that's an endoscopic revision. And for the right patient with weight regain after bariatric surgery, it's one of the most underutilized tools in our entire field. Here's the problem. Most patients who regain weight after surgery think they only have two options: live with it or have another major operation. They don't know there's a middle option, a procedure done entirely through the mouth that can tighten a stretched connection, restore restriction, and produce meaningful weight loss without a single cut on your body. Today I'm going to show you exactly how this works, who it's for, what the data actually show, where it falls short, and how to know if it's the right option for you. If you're regaining weight after bariatric surgery, don't skip this video. Before I explain the fix, you need to understand what broke. After Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, the connection between your small pouch and the intestine is called the gastrojejunal anastomosis. When it's first created, it's about 10 to 12 millimeters in diameter, roughly the size of a dime. The narrow opening is what creates restriction. Food sits in the pouch, you feel full, and it empties through that small hole slowly. But over time, that opening stretches. It can dilate to 20, 25, or even 30 millimeters or more. Now food passes through too quickly. The pouch empties before your brain gets a signal that you were ever full. You can eat larger portions, the hunger returns, and the weight starts creeping back up. This isn't a willpower problem, this is a plumbing problem. The pipe got wider, and when the pipe gets wider, the system stops working the way it was designed to. After a sleeve gastrectomy, a similar process happens. The narrow tube that once held 3 to 4 ounces gradually stretches. Studies showing 3D CT scans have shown that 61% of sleeve patients experience measurable dilation within the first year. And patients whose sleeve volume exceeds 180 milliliters lose significantly less weight than those who stay below that threshold. Both situations create the same result. The anatomy that made the surgery work has changed. And then the question becomes, what do we do about it? TORE, or T-O-R-E, stands for transoral outlet reduction. Transoral means through the mouth. Outlet refers to the gastrojejunal anastomosis. Reduction means we're making it smaller. Here's exactly what happens. You're sedated, a flexible endoscope is passed through your mouth, down your esophagus, and into the gastric pouch. We can see the anastomosis directly. We can measure it, and in most patients with weight regain, it's clearly dilated. Step 1 is argon plasma coagulation. We use a probe that delivers a beam of ionized argon gas to the tissue surrounding the dilated opening. This creates a controlled superficial burn on the mucosal surface. It sounds aggressive, but it's remarkably precise. The burn causes the tissue to scar and contract as it heals, which begins the process of shrinking the opening. Step 2 is full thickness suturing. A specialized suturing device is passed through the endoscope and places the stitches through the full thickness of the tissue around the anastomosis, physically cinching it closed. The goal is to reduce the diameter back to approximately 10 to 12 millimeters, restoring the restriction that was lost. The entire procedure takes about 45 to 90 minutes. Most patients go home the same day. Recovery is minimal, and you follow a liquid diet for a few days, then advance through the same stage progression you followed after your original surgery. No abdominal incisions, no staple lines on your skin, and no hospital stay. Now let me give you the honest numbers. In a meta-analysis of over 1,100 patients who underwent the TORE procedure, they found a mean total body weight loss of 8.9% at 12 months. For a 250-pound patient, that's about 22 pounds. For a 300-pound patient, about 27 pounds. A modified technique that adds endoscopic submucosal dissection before suturing achieved 12.1% total weight loss at 12 months, significantly better than standard TORE. A randomized controlled trial compared argon plasma coagulation alone versus argon plasma coagulation plus suturing, and both groups achieved approximately 7.5 to 8.3% total body weight loss at 12 months with no significant difference between the two approaches. So let me put this into perspective. Surgical revision, converting a sleeve to a bypass, for example, produces a 23 to 35% additional total weight loss. That's 2 to 3 or 4 times more than a TORE. So endoscopic revision is not as powerful as surgical revision, that's a fact. But here the other side of that equation. The serious complication rate after TORE is approximately 1 to 2%. After surgical revision, it's about 5 to 21%. Readmission after surgical revision is about 4.8%, and reoperation is about 2.4%. TORE has a fraction of that risk. The question is not which produces more weight loss. The question is which produces the right amount of weight loss for the right patient at the right level of risk. So who should get TOR instead of surgical revisions? The ideal TOR candidate has 4 characteristics. First, moderate weight regain, typically 15 to 25% above their lowest weight after surgery. Patients with massive regain, 40 or 50 or 60% above their low weight, generally need the metabolic power of a surgical revision. Second, a clearly dilated anastomosis on endoscopy. If the opening is still 10 to 12 milliliters and the anatomy looks intact, the problem is not mechanical, it's more hormonal or behavioral, and TOR will not fix that. Third, no major anatomic failure requiring surgical correction. If there's a gastrogastric fistula, a significantly dilated pouch, or a structural problem that needs restructuring, endoscopic revision may not be enough. Fourth is a preference to avoid another surgery. Some patients are not candidates for surgical revisions due to medical comorbidities. Others simply do not want another operation. For these patients, TOR offers a real evidence-based alternative. Now, here's something most patients don't know about. Endoscopic revision is not just for bypass patients anymore. If your sleeve gastrectomy has stretched, a procedure called revisional endoscopic sleeve gastroplasty can tighten it from the inside. A suturing device is passed through the mouth and a series of full-thickness stitches are placed alongside the dilated sleeve, reducing its volume and restoring restriction. Multi-center data show 15.7% total weight loss at 12 months. That's nearly double what TOR achieves for bypass patients. This is still early data. The published studies are small and the follow-up is short, and long-term durability is unknown. But for sleeve patients who want to avoid conversion to bypass or a duodenal switch, this is a promising option that didn't exist 5 years ago. I wouldn't be doing my job if I only told you the good news, so here's the honest truth about an endoscopic revision. Durability is the biggest question mark. A systematic review found that endoscopic bariatric procedures resulted in modest and in some cases temporary weight loss. Some patients regain weight after the initial loss. About 20 to 25% may need a repeat procedure or escalation to surgical revision. Also, the weight loss is modest compared to surgery. If you need to lose 80 or 100 pounds, TOR is probably not the answer. It was designed for patients who need to lose 20 to 30 pounds and restore the restriction that faded over time. Stricture formation occurs in about 3 to 5% of patients. The sutures can create an opening that is too tight, causing difficulty swallowing food or food getting stuck. This is treatable with an endoscopic dilation, but it's a real complication that patients need to know about. And insurance coverage is inconsistent. Many insurers still consider endoscopic revision investigational. Coverage varies widely by plan and by region. This is changing as the evidence base grows, but it still remains a barrier for some patients. So how do you decide between medication, endoscopic revision, and surgical revision? Think of it as a ladder. Step 1, lifestyle optimization, nutrition counseling, behavioral support, exercise, protein compliance. Every patient starts here regardless of what comes next. Step 2 is medical therapy. GLP-1 receptor agonists like semaglutide or tirzepatide. These medications work on the same hormonal pathways that surgery targets. For patients with moderate regain, driven by hormonal rebound and behavioral factors, medication plus lifestyle changes may be sufficient. Step 3, endoscopic revision. For patients who have a clear anatomic target, a dilated anastomosis or a stretched sleeve, and moderate regain that has not responded to lifestyle or medication alone, that may be an option. Step number 4, surgical revision. For patients with significant anatomic failure, severe regain, refractory reflux, or inadequate response to less invasive options, you might go for surgery. You don't have to start at the top of the ladder. You can start at the bottom and escalate only as needed. And the critical first step before any of these decisions is a proper workup. Endoscopy, labs, imaging, nutrition assessment, psychological evaluation. The right treatment depends on the right diagnosis. One more thing that's incredibly important. Endoscopic revision and GLP-1 medications are not mutually exclusive. They can be combined. TOR restores mechanical restriction. GLP-1 medications restore hormonal suppression of hunger. Together, they address both pathways of regain simultaneously. Early data on this combination are encouraging, though large-scale studies are still needed. Patients who undergo TOR and achieve good initial results but begin to plateau adding a GLP-1 medication may extend and amplify the weight loss. This multimodal approach, combining anatomic correction with pharmacologic support, represents the future of weight regain management. Weight regain after bariatric surgery is not a dead end. It's a fork in the road. One path leads to shame and silence and doing nothing. The other leads to evaluation, understanding, and action. Endoscopic revision is not the most powerful tool in the toolbox, but it is one of the safest. And for the right patient, it delivers exactly what is needed: restored restriction, meaningful weight loss, and renewed confidence, all without a surgical incision. If you're experiencing weight regain after gastric bypass or sleeve gastrectomy, the next step isn't to panic, it's a conversation. We do the workup, we find the cause, and we match the right tool to the right problem. I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to talk about why your in-body or DEXA scan results matter more than the scale, and how body composition tells the real story of your results. Thank you for watching. Real science, real surgery, real results.